life is good when you're the quarterback of the New York Jets and you can eat a hot dog on the sideline.
During the last TV timeout, Mark Sanchez is trying his best to hide a hot dog and eat it. Oh, wow.
As we can see here, Mark Sanchez is enjoying a nice juicy hot dog during a timeout from play. Timeouts are used in all sports in order to reverse negative momentum and allow players to physically, mentally recover during games. This is also true in basketball, where timeouts are used to allow a team to recover and reset their game plan after their team scores a debilitating dunk or a crucial three. It's also true in football, when coaches use timeouts to ice the opposing kicker, getting in their head and throwing off the rhythm. This gamesmanship has been startlingly effective, with a 15% drop in the success rate for field goals. These results mystified statisticians, coaches, and players until psychologists came along and introduced the concept of psychological momentum, or PM, the effects of psychological factors on success at some end goal. Professional sports is the ideal arena to discuss such a topic due to the extensive academic data and research available. However, its purview extends far beyond sports to wide-ranging topics like productivity in the workplace, attentiveness in the classroom, and even rises and falls in the stock market. People might say that past returns is no guarantee of future results. As I'm about to show you, it's not necessarily the case. The best place to start a discussion of psychological momentum is on the hot hand, which says that someone who has a past record of success is more likely to continue their streak in the future. This might seem obvious, but in fact it's hotly debated among sports scientists. And you can think of it kind of as someone who made several shots in a row in basketball or several successful plays in football. It's more likely to get their next shot in, make the next play, like you saw with Dante DiVincenzo in the national title game earlier this week. So the seminal study on this topic is a 1985 study by famed mathematicians Amos Tversky, Robert Gilovich, and Thomas Malone, entitled The Hot Hand in Basketball. In it, they investigated 1980 to 1981 Philadelphia 76ers season, and they determined there was no evidence for a hot hand in basketball. Instead, they said that any illusions of a hot hand among coaches and players arose from the illusion of apophenia, the tendency of people to see patterns in data that don't exist. It seemed as if cold hard facts had once and for all disproved the wild conjectures of sports fans and announcers. However, several recent studies questioned those findings. In 2011, an MIT study analyzed 300,000 NBA free throws and found that in a two-shot free throw series, if the player made the first, they had a significantly higher chance of making the next one. And in 2014, a Harvard study utilizing newly developed advanced statistics found that in the NBA, a player who made 3 or more shots in a row had a 6.3% higher chance of making the next one. It might not seem like a lot. As they point out, the difference between an NBA elite three-point shooter and an average one is 10 percentage points. It's crucial to understand the hot hand because it's a relationship between PM and outcome, or success. Let's use the example of Wilt Chamberlain, the famed NBA star. In 1963, he had an amazing game where he made 18 straight free throws, or field goals in general too. An amazing record, part of a larger streak of 35 straight. This streak gave his team, Philadelphia 76ers, a huge amount of positive PM, and in turn, it powered them to a 31-point win that night. In the meantime, coaches could have hoped to call a timeout to temper this wave of momentum. This strategy has been used since time immemorial by coaches of all sports, including a game called simply The Comeback, in which the Buffalo Bills overcame an NFL record 32-point deficit in 1993 AFC wildcard game. Halftime acted as a timeout for them, allowing them to reset their game plan and come back refocused and reinvigorated. With a bit of luck, the Bills came away with a 41-38 overtime win. If there had not been a halftime or some other significant break from play, it is much more likely that the Oilers would have maintained or even extended their route. And if there had been an extended break from play, if a timeout during the second half, during the Bills' comeback, it's likely that the Bills' comeback would have been slowed or even halted. Off the field, researchers have attempted to estimate the magnitude of these waves of momentum. Natural scientists, with a consistent goal of quantification, establish a model grounded in Newtonian physics, which gives the equation for momentum as P equals mass times velocity. They theorize that psychological velocity here, provided by some catalyst, some precipitating event that changes momentum in a game. It could be a dunk, or a 3 in basketball, a pick 6 in football, a grand slam in baseball, anything that changes the momentum of the game. And they theorize that mass is provided by social context of the event. Is it the championship game? Is it your final game of the season? Is it a home game? Is your mom in the stands? All these factors come together, they theorize at least, to provide an accurate model of the Newtonian model of momentum. So psychologists came up with a little bit more of an abstract model called multidimensional model of momentum in sports. In it, they theorize a 5-step momentum chain, which they think accurately models momentum. So first, there's a precipitating event. This is the same as psychological velocity Newtonian model, some event like a pick 6 or a grand slam. This in turn results in a change in cognition and or physiology. So to an extent, based on factors like experience. Players who have positive PM might feel lightening of fatigue, or players who have negative PM might feel shaking of the hands. This in turn directly relates to the change in their behavior. If you're feeling confident, you're going to take that shot, that audacious shot you might normally take. Or if you're not feeling confident, you might pass to your teammate instead. That change in behavior immediately affects the change in performance. 4th step. You take that shot, goes in, 2 more points, 3 more points for your team. You don't take it, changes the outcome of the game. And lastly, it changes the immediate outcome, the success of the game. Did the team win, did the team lose? This affected it. It might seem strange to think that that one shot affects every game, but these chains of momentum are in every player's head on the field constantly throughout the game. And in sum, come together, provide a significant factor on success in the game. And one important term to note is the rate of reinforcement, which essentially is how many times a precipitating event, the first step in the momentum chain, is in favor of one team. Think of it as if you hit 5 threes in a row, your team will have more positive momentum than when a team just hit 1. And timeouts are an effective tool to slow this rate of reinforcement. In fact, studies from the NBA have shown that teams going into timeout with negative PM emerge with higher post-timeout offensive and defensive performances. So recently, psychologists and behavioral economists have begun to extend these conclusions to other areas, mainly consumer buying choices. People have been shown to buy lottery tickets based on last week's numbers, pick horses based on the results from the last race, and even pick stocks solely on the fact that their prices were rising the day before. They believe just as much as sports fans and announcers and players believe in the hot hand and PM, slumps and streaks as shown above. As for timeouts, employers and teachers can learn timeouts can be a useful tool to reducing or increasing productivity in the workplace and attentiveness in the classroom, respectively. Personally, on a micro scale, I know how hard it is to stay focused for an entire 55-minute class period. And although a 5-minute break might result in some loss of productivity, it will be more than offset by increased focus for the rest of the period. On a more macro scale, the academic pressures of school can compound with each new assessment and assignment tacked on by teachers. It's especially true before breaks, where it seems like every teacher tries to add in as many as possible, compounded with exams. I've noticed, myself included, among other students, that breaks provide a great way for students to recharge their batteries. When they come back refocused and thus more productive. The same principle applies to free periods during the school day. And neuroscientists have even shown that these breaks, no matter their length, facilitate better information retention. Similarly, coaches can learn when it is best to use timeouts in games, and even implement PM in training. In a novel training program at a youth soccer club in Denmark, a program consisting of specially tailored drills and exercises had the goal of increasing players' perception of what stimuli cause changes in their PM, and what behaviors they exhibit during those changes. By all accounts, it was a huge success. The team moved from the bottom of the standings to the top in a dominant position for several years during the span of the program. And players, most importantly, gained or improved their ability to reverse or recover from negative individual or team PM, facilitating better performance in their league. So, success in this experiment and all other research in the area is defined numerically. And while quantitative methods are well suited to determining empirically the relationship between PM performance through analysis of the hot hand, qualitative methods are needed to better understand what stimuli cause changes in and or maintenance of current levels of PM. Danish program could be improved by considering athletes' perceptions of control. So if an athlete believes strongly in the hot hand and PM, they think they only need 2 to 3 successful plays in a row to rise from a normal level of play to a stellar one. And similarly, they realize that they only need 2 to 3 successful plays in a row to rise from a slump back to a normal level of play. Facilitates better recovery and better performance overall. It's presumptuous of us to assume the validity of our models. We can only prove a subset of them empirically, the relationship between PM and performance. We need to institute qualitative measures to better understand psychological momentum and progress in our research. We need things like thought sampling between breaks of play. We need descriptions of events in athletes' own words to get a better understanding of this qualitative data that we have only quantitative sources of right now. And equally importantly, we need to consider more extrinsic factors like crowd noise, which have a huge effect nonetheless. So to sum it up, we need to consider these qualitative factors in our further research. That's what I'm proposing. We'll continue to see the effects of this momentum in sports, and even more importantly, in our own lives. Thank you.